everything you need to know about Saturday Night Live with John Schneider and James Stevens.
Welcome to everything you need to know about Saturday Night Live. I'm John Schneider from the Saturday Night Network.
And I'm James Stevens, and we're glad you're here to join us as we continue the journey of sketches, characters, and backstage stories that chronicle the 50-year history of SNL.
So here's everything you need to know about Season 12 of Saturday Night Live. In the summer of 1986, Saturday Night Live was once again given the chance to shake things up in an attempt to finally stabilize the show. SNL was renewed by NBC for only half a season for the first time in its history, and most of the season 11 cast were let go. The exceptions were Nora Dunn, John Lovitz, Dennis Miller, and A. Whitney Brown. Remaining on the writing staff were Al Franken and Tom Davis, Jim Downey, George Meyer, Herb Sargent, and Robert Smigel. Taking a different approach than season 11, Lorne Michaels sought out more seasoned cast members who would work well with the already established team. The new cast brought on were 31-year-old Dana Carvey from San Francisco, a stand-up comic. 38-year-old Phil Hartman from Ontario, a graphic designer who trained at the Groundlings and was a close friend of John Lovitz. 29-year-old Jan Hooks from Georgia, a sketch comedy actress who had auditioned previously for seasons 10 and 11 and had worked in several Groundlings-related projects. 27-year-old Victoria Jackson from Miami, a stand-up comic and popular guest on The Tonight Show. And 33-year-old featured player Kevin Nealon from Connecticut, a stand-up comic who was dating Jan Hooks at the time and was recommended by Dana Carvey shortly before the premiere.
Some of the new writers that were hired in season 12 included E. Jean Carroll, a columnist and author, Bonnie and Terry Turner, a husband and wife comedy team from Atlanta, Mark Shaman, a theater and cabaret music director who would write many musical sketches, and Christine Zander from the Second City in Chicago. Former writers Andy Breckman and Rosie Schuster also returned to round out the writing team. The season premiered on October 11th, 1986, on the 11th anniversary of the show's premiere. Madonna opened the show by reading a statement from NBC.
1 year ago tonight, I hosted the premiere episode of Saturday Night Live. Therefore, NBC has asked me to read the following statement concerning last year's entire season. Ready? It was all a dream, a horrible, horrible dream.
This was a reference to the 1985-86 season of Dallas, where the entire 9th season was annulled as a dream in the show's 10th season premiere, which aired on CBS 2 weeks earlier. A new logo debuts with this episode, as does a new opening montage. For the first time, the opening montage has the host as the last person to be announced.
And starring Sigourney Weaver.
A tradition that continues in modern times. Also, a new home base stage is introduced, resembling an elegant ballroom. And director Dave Wilson, who had been with the show the previous 11 seasons, had now departed and was replaced by Paul Miller. Actress Sigourney Weaver would host the premiere, fresh off the fame from Aliens. And while no musical guest is credited, Buster Poindexter performs a couple of tunes with the SNL band, and one alongside Sigourney. Poindexter would continue to make several guest appearances this season, performing with the SNL band. Perhaps the biggest treat the premiere would offer would be the introduction of several new characters, including Jan Hooks' perky middle-aged busybody, Marge Keister.
I work for Cracker Jacks Incorporated.
Kevin Nealon's Mr. Subliminal.
And if we finish dinner early, hot sex, maybe we'll go back to my apartment, hot sex, and watch some television?
Okay, yes.
And if this whole thing works out, hot sex, maybe I'll call you again. Don't hold your breath, okay?
Okay, great.
Dana Carvey's Derek Stevens, the English singer-songwriter, a character which Carvey auditioned with.
And my nanny, she went downtown. She bought some broccoli. She brought it home. She's chopping broccoli. Chopping broccoli. She's chopping broccoli. Chopping broccoli. Chopping broccoli.
And of course, the church lady.
I am the gatekeeper.
Well, isn't that special?
Church Chat was a sketch that played late in dress rehearsal but was moved up earlier in the live show after receiving such an enthusiastic audience reaction.
Well, who brought out the welcome wagon?
From NBC's The Cosby Show, 16-year-old Malcolm Jamal-Warner would host next.
Everything's negotiable.
With musical guest Run DMC.
I know, but I said Yoko, man.
Hey, sorry. seen. Never. That's always undercover. And I talk to my daddy, say, said you ain't seen nothing till you're down on the muppet. And it's sure been changed away.
Special guest Sam Kinison performs a then controversial stand-up piece.
We'll stop smoking crack if you give us the pot.
And we also see the debut of Phil Hartman's Phil Donahue impression.
Surely you can tell us a little bit about your personal experience with men.
My personal experience simply is not relevant to the topic. I'm a clinical psychologist. This is my field of expertise. I'm perfectly willing to enlighten you on the subject of why women stay in degrading relationships, but I will not discuss my personal life.
Please.
As well as Phil's old Hollywood Johnny O'Connor character.
Maybe I've made too many of these war movies. Maybe I should take a rest, huh, Harry?
I think you should take a rest, too. A permanent one.
What do you mean?
I'm letting you go.
You mean?
Yes, your contract isn't being renewed.
But, Harry,
You're finished, Johnny.
Don't mince words!
I think you stink.
Listen, Harry, if you're unhappy with my work, tell me now!
I think you're the worst actor I've ever seen, and I get 500 letters a day telling me the same.
What's the word on the street?
The episode would also mark the first appearance of duo party singers played by Nora Dunn and Jan Hooks, the Sweeney sisters.
We'll be swell. We'll be great.
In this first outing, Franny and Marianne appear as guests on a morning talk show. In all subsequent appearances, Liz and Candy, as they would be identified going forward, would place the Sweeneys in their own standalone sketches.
Clang, clang, clang with the trolley. Ding, ding, ding with the bell. Hey, speaking of ding-dongs, get a load of her.
The next episode, which was supposed to air live on October 25th, ended up being recorded due to the legendary 6th game of the World Series running long. Broadcasted on November 8th, the show opened with Mets pitcher Ron Darling apologizing for delaying the show.
When we found out that Saturday Night Live had been preempted, the mood in the locker room dropped quicker than a Roger McDowell sinker ball. We didn't mean to do it. It's just that when you're playing in the World Series, sometimes you get all wrapped up in it and, well, you forget about what's really important. Believe me, I'd gladly give back my World Series ring if it would bring the show back live. But it won't, so I'm keeping it.
For the first time in SNL history, recorded from 1:30 to 3 a.m., the episode hosted by actress Rosanna Arquette was preempted and broadcasted 2 weeks later.
Neck with the producer sketch. This isn't bad. I mean, it's funny and it makes an interesting point about the homeless.
Frequent guest Sam Kinison hosts the next show.
I call it a real touch from God.
Followed by the return of Robin Williams.
Hey, Chief! I know you believe!
The cold open features Robin Williams playing President Ronald Reagan in the very memorable earpiece sketch.
Do you feel the secret arms deal to Iran was a mistake?
I would like to answer that with a definitive no. No!
This would mark the first time someone plays the then current president since Randy Quaid in the previous season.
One Adam 12, one Adam 12.
Mr. President, we're getting some interference on that frequency.
I'm a rapper. See me now. Say See that? Look out. Los míos sabordentes con gleam.
Musical guest Paul Simon appears in 3 sketches.
Oh, I'm sure you don't remember, but I saw you in your concert at Central Park.
You were sitting on a plaid blanket.
Yeah.
Under the elm tree.
Yes.
Yeah. You've changed your hair since then.
With Art Garfunkel even making a brief cameo.
And your name is?
Oh, I'm Art Garfunkel.
Art Garfunkel.
Whoopi Goldberg also appears to introduce Paul's second performance.
Yeah, there's only 2 men who I'd get out of my honeymoon bed for. One of them is Robin Williams. Pee Wee Herman. The other guy I get out of bed for is Paul Simon.
And during Weekend Update, Dennis Miller reads a joke about SNL band member and co-music director Cheryl Hardwick recently marrying former SNL writer Michael O'Donoghue.
There's our musical director, Cheryl Hardwick. Just 4 weeks ago, Cheryl married former Saturday Night Live writer/iconoclast Michael O'Donoghue. Should you want to send the couple a gift, their pattern is registered at Black & Decker.
Hardwick and O'Donoghue were married 4 weeks prior to this episode.
December begins with Chevy Chase, Steve Martin, and Martin Short, who co-host to promote the film Three Amigos, written by Steve Martin, Lorne Michaels, and musical guest Randy Newman.
I'm me, and you're not me, and you're not me, and you're not me. taking care of your army because I'm the meest me there ever was.
This episode would mark Steve Martin's first hosting appearance since season 5 and his 9th overall. The episode also marks Chevy Chase's 5th time hosting, as well as Randy Newman's 5th stint as musical guest, the first of many artists that would hit that milestone.
The one they ever won't be put back together at all.
4-time host Eric Idle makes a cameo.
Just a lucky shot in the dark.
And we also see Phil Hartman take over the role of playing President Reagan in the now classic Mastermind sketch.
Hello, little girl. What's your name?
Lisa Myers.
Well, Lisa, if you're that good a sales lady, maybe I could use you up on Capitol Hill. Well, it was nice meeting you.
Come on, Lisa. Come on.
Bye-bye.
Come on.
Back to work!
Also, we are treated to Steve Martin's holiday wish.
If I had 3 wishes that I could make this holiday season, the first, of course, would be for all the children to get together and sing. The second would be for the $30 million every month to me. And the third would be for all-encompassing power over every living being and the entire universe.
Actor Steve Guttenberg hosts next.
I'm very nervous myself.
In a show that contains a short film by future host Tim Robbins.
Excuse me, do you mind? No reason my lungs should get your cancer, is there, capiche?
The episode also marks the final guest appearance from Penn and Teller.
We're going to do the world's most expensive card trick. We're going to spend $56,000 of NBC's money to fool 2 people chosen at random.
Honey, look at that butt.
The final episode of 1986 brings us Star Trek legend William Shatner to host.
You've been putting on a little weight?
Yes, Captain, a little.
Stand-up comic Kevin Meaney is credited as a guest in this episode, playing minor roles in 3 sketches.
Dr. McCoy, this man needs medical attention.
Damn it, Jim, I'm a doctor, not a... Oh, sure.
Shatner's episode would bring us the annual Star Trek convention.
Get a life, will you, people? I mean, how old are you people? What have you done with yourselves? You must be almost 30. Have you ever kissed a girl?
We're also presented with the lost ending to It's a Wonderful Life.
They've been coming all evening. They didn't ask any questions. All they said was if George Bailey needs help, we're here to help him.
Oh, Mary, I never realized I had so many friends.
Hi, everyone! I remembered what I did with the money, the $8,000!
Well, that's great, Uncle Billy. Well, what'd you do with it?
Old man Potter deposited exactly $8,000 right after I left! It was him!
What are we waiting for? Let's go get it!
Where are
you? You made one mistake, Mr. Potter. You double-crossed me and you left me alive.
Now, wait just a second. I'll give you the money back.
I don't want the money. I want a piece of you, Potter. Mary, have a piece of that.
You didn't know it.
1987 begins with 2 legendary athletes co-hosting. 49ers quarterback Joe Montana.
Oh, you won't disturb me. I'll be in my room masturbating.
And Bears running back Walter Payton.
Well, I try to penetrate any opening I could find.
Former cast and SNL band member Paul Shaffer would host next.
It's not a very hip audience, and they're not expecting a very hip show.
Shaffer promotes the upcoming 5th anniversary special of Late Night with David Letterman, which would tape and air from Studio 8H the following week.
We're going to get really drunk, and then we're going to tell the new guys from GE how we actually feel about it.
Perfect Strangers star Bronson Pinchot hosts on Valentine's Day.
Don Pardo mispronounced my name. It is not Pinchot, it is Pinchot. Okay, so that's out of the way. We have just a terrific show for you tonight.
Bronson is joined by special guest, model Paulina Paraskova, who appears in several sketches throughout the night. The Nightline sketch features several impressions, including the debut of Dana Carvey's Ted Koppel.
Good evening, I'm Ted Koppel, and this is Nightline.
Kevin Nealon's Brent Musburger.
That's NFL Today on CBS, Ted.
As well as the reprise of Al Franken's Henry Kissinger.
It would be a grave mistake to underestimate the geopolitical importance of Canada.
Next, country singer Willie Nelson pulls double duty as host and musical guest.
We live in a time of great change.
and the life of the cracker redneck peckerwood may soon disappear.
Joining the episode as special guest, Danny DeVito would make appearances in several sketches throughout the night.
This could be history in a crime family.
And during Weekend Update, we see our first instance of a Victoria Jackson handstand on the update desk.
From sea to shine.
The following episode is hosted by actress Valerie Bertinelli.
This is nothing like regular television. This is live. This is more like a Van Halen concert.
Her then-husband, Eddie Van Halen, performs a song with the SNL band that he co-wrote with G.E. Smith, Stompin' 8H. The episode marks the debut of Kevin Nealon's Sam Donaldson impression.
I could sit here and recommend specials until the cows come home. But ultimately, you're the one that's going to have to eat what's on the plate.
And Phil Hartman's Peter Graves impression.
All right.
Playing him as a bumbling idiot.
So gold is long and thin, like, say, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Also, this edition of Weekend Update has Dennis Miller using the line that would go on to be his standard opening.
Good evening. What can I tell you?
Bill, you owed us 110 shows. You did 109 shows.
109? What do you mean?
You remember the show you missed when your mother was sick?
My mother was very sick, and you said that I should go home.
It turns out I exceeded my authority.
You still owe us that show.
Bill Murray then returns to host for the third time, becoming the only person to date to host episodes produced by all three executive producers, Gene Domanian, Dick Ebersol, and Lorne Michaels.
This is the 500th broadcast of Saturday Night Live. Everybody have fun tonight. Everybody wang chung tonight.
The episode features the first appearance of Nick the Lounge Singer in more than 6 years, as well as a Jim Downey penned sequel to a sketch from 1977.
Do you see that boulder over there? I want you to lift it.
That boulder is too large. I could lift a smaller one.
So, the mighty Hercules.
In 6 months, I will be able to lift it. Right after I put an end to your despotic rule, Laertes, I plan to start a new regimen. Running, swimming, eating better. All this will disappear.
During the Goodnight, Murray has a special nostalgic message for his original castmates.
I'd like to make a personal appeal to my friends, Dan Aykroyd and Gilda Radner, Lorraine Newman, Garrett Morris, and who else? Jane Curtin. And say that it's a good deal to come back and host. They just kiss your butt the whole week.
Next, Charlton Heston comes to host.
Finally, I have a chance to showcase my comedic skills.
The episode includes a short film featuring actor Ben Stiller, 2 years before Stiller would join the cast. The episode also offers one of the more memorable editions of Church Chat.
So there we are. Our naughty parts all engorged and tingling.
With Jan Hooks and Phil Hartman playing disgraced televangelists Tammy Faye and Jim Baker.
We have repented. And we need their emotional and financial support now more than ever.
April then features two John L's. First, John Lithgow returns to host, reprising Baudelaire alongside his arch-rival, Master Thespian.
Thank you!
Followed by Night Court star John Larroquette.
No matter how many Emmys you have, and I have 2, you can never forget that your fellow actors are part of your family too.
The episode marks the debut of Dana Carvey's John Travolta impression.
What's going on here? You know, like what's happening here? You know, like what's going on with the grab bags here? You know, like what kind of stuff is turning up right now here?
And the closing moments of the show are reserved for a special tribute for Al Camoin, longtime NBC camera operator who was retiring.
The first episode of May would be hosted by People Magazine's sexiest man alive, Mark Harmon.
They let me wear the towel.
The episode features the latest of this season's great commercial parodies with Einstein Express.
When it absolutely positively has to be there the day before yesterday.
Though he returned in a minimal role the previous season, film producer James Signorelli directed several now classic commercial parodies appearing this season. Comedian Gary Shandling would host the season's penultimate episode.
Is this going to be great or what?
The show contains a running gag throughout the night where Shandling continues to break the fourth wall, freely addressing the camera as he did on It's Gary Shandling's show.
This is great, isn't it? I think it's the give and take that's so special. Thanks, guys. It was a great sketch.
Well, thank you for shopping at Bam Burgers!
Give it up, Phil. Forget it.
The season finale will feature actor Dennis Hopper as host,
I'll freak anything that moves!
with musical guest Roy Orbison. We close out the 12th season of Saturday Night Live with appearances from The Church Lady, Tammy Faye Baker, Sam Donaldson, The Sweeney Sisters, A. Whitney Brown's Big Picture, and the debut of Phil Hartman's Jack Nicholson impression.
This stuff will ruin you.
Ever since Lorne Michaels left Saturday Night Live in 1980, the show seemed to always feel like it was on the brink of cancellation.
Boy, that sure is a roller coaster.
It wasn't truly until season 12 that SNL began to stabilize itself in the way it did during the first golden era. Lorne had finally assembled a team of writers and performers, possessing an ensemble chemistry that complemented each other's sensibilities. The additions this season of Dana Carvey, Phil Hartman, Jan Hooks, Victoria Jackson, and Kevin Nealon provided range and creativity that had been lacking the previous season.
We are the champions.
The material this season proved to resonate with audiences, as both the writers and actors provided a level of satire and wit that once again gave people a reason to stay home Saturday nights.
It was much better than Cats.
As we head into season 13, we'll see the momentum continue and a second golden era begin to form, only to be cut short in the spring of 1988. If you are enjoying this series, don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel below, and follow us on social media to see posts on the sketches you need to watch from Season 12.
Saturday Night Live Season 12 is available now on Peacock. For all of us here at the Saturday Night Network, I'm James Stevens.
And I'm John Schneider. That's the news, and we are out of here.